All right, everybody, it's Chris with Drop Dice. So for some reason, the broadcast ended in the middle, so we're just going to kind of start right here. I had these guys take their breaks, so we are going to do our introductions. I, of course, made mine, but let's go down the line and talk to the others that are part of this broadcast. One thing that I did want to mention is that I am also 1/3 of A Point of Inspiration, which that powerhouse has been started again, and we are working our way around to doing some cool stuff. Let's talk to another third of A Point of Inspiration, Marquise.
What's up, everybody? I'm Marquise Hardis, also known as the Stereotypical Strider on my own YouTube channel. A third of A Point of Inspiration, where basically we try to make supplements and adventures and stuff like that. Life is really hectic. All three of us, all three parts of us, have a lot going on right now. So we've been slow getting back on it, but we're slowly building back up, and we hope to have some announcements sooner rather than later. But I'm having a blast this game. I'm playing Aaron Black. He's a tiefling. He's a fighter. You've already seen he's a gunslinger. Super fun to play. I love playing Chris's games. It's so heavy in atmosphere. So glad to be here, and make sure you watch out for more stuff coming from us and at BrigadeCon this Saturday.
Perfect. Next, we'll jump over to Matt.
Yeah, I'm Matt B, and I play in a lot of Star Wars games and a few D&D games on the OSG. And love all these guys and love all the people I play with. Great community. That's the only thing I'll plug. And I'm playing the Garuda, Raptor Garuda to be specific. He's a vulture-looking sniper, and his name is Dorja Azah, but I don't think any of you know that yet.
Probably not. They probably know you by your code name.
The Wolf and the Raven.
Lewis?
I'm Lewis. I don't have anything of my own to plug, I don't think, but I am a regular player on Jeremy Workman's Arena games. You can find them at Black Wizards at youtube.com. They're fantastic games. Until recently, Matt has been a huge member of the group, but he's had to step out for a while. And we record everything. It's a great time. We'd love if you come and explore the history of this world with us. Today I am playing Iron of Heart and Body, a Karat, very, very large muscles, and very strong faith.
Perfect.
Oh, Karat are like rhino people.
Exactly.
By the way,
I was about to say this is a homebrew world. There are a few unique races like the Karat and the Garuda that are included in there, and there are a few familiar races that have been excluded, like the elves and dwarves. They are actually fae folk inside this world, so they do exist. They're just not player characters unless you're playing a fae game.
Can I ask a question? The dwarves too?
The dwarves do exist, but they're fae creatures, and they're evil Viking dwarves. Like the kind that will eat your face.
And that's where we start.
We're going to go ahead and jump back into the game in just a moment. The one thing that I did want to point out is Marquise brought it up. BrigadeCon is this weekend, coming up the 29th. If you are available to be able to watch some games or play in games, I believe there are a few spots open in some different games still. Definitely check out brigadecon.org. And any proceeds that are made from the event do go to help benefit Child's Play, which is a great community to provide games and support for children who are in hospitals for long-term conditions that give them an opportunity to do things that normal kids do, like play games. With that said, let's go ahead and jump right back into it. For Dorje, you look at the feather, and the color combination is a little different than your own, but you recognize it. This assortment of beads and the way that they're arranged lets you know that this man was a sniper, much like yourself, and he belonged to the Gidta clan, G-I-D-T-H. And the Gidta clan actually normally stays more southernly. To see one this far north is pretty unusual. And most Raptor Garuda kind of travel with the prey of their choice. So like the Gidta follow around Stegosaurus. That's what they mainly feed on. And so while the Stegosaurus herds move, they travel with them.
uh, the the Garuda will click his tongue as he finally walks upon this site and collects these beads and say shame. And he'll pull up his sleeve. And if he's still present, Mr. Black would see this. Otherwise, no one would. There are 5 other assortments of beads on his arm, and you assume one of them is his own. And he slides this on to his arm around his wrist as a 6th. And he pulls his sleeve up. And he sighs and he kneels down. And he says, Gidya Delasaba. Tarush. And he closes his eyes and stands back up, giving the vocal funeral rites of an honor-bound Garuda as he turns around and says, "This is unusual. Shouldn't be here."
When you, because you're making a prayer over the body, you kind of run your hand along to close his eyes. And as you do, one of your talons kind of touches what should be an eyeball. And it's at that moment that you notice that the eye that he would have used to sight in this gun is a false eye.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I guess what I said kind of fits. So this is unusual. Shouldn't be here.
What's unusual? Because Black is still there. He's been watching. What's unusual?
And he'll literally pluck the eye, and it'll be kind of a grotesque scene, but quick. This will be like.
Yeah, you quickly kind of wrap a talon around and separate any sort of muscle that's kind of pulled up on that eye. And the fake eye comes out, and it's this kind of a milky yellow that has no pupil on it. And when you go to find it, there is an iris, and it just kind of looks almost comical, like a drawing of an eye, not actually an eye. It's very obviously fake.
Yeah, I'll note this to myself, and I'll put it in my pocket quickly, and just say to him, "Oh, unusual, yes, Garuda. They usually are down south. They're usually not here, not in Dragon Mountain."
Black looks at you with his characteristic, untrustworthy stare of a tiefling, and he doesn't say anything. He just scoops up the 2 rifles. He finishes stitching his left arm vaguely. He's got the ball out, but the stitching is haphazard. It's not nearly as good as his sister did for him, and it might even get infected. But he takes to pull it. He puts it into his pocket, and he says, "Let's go see the councilman. Let's go see Iron. Let's go see the smith." And he stands up. He's going to start walking back to the armory.
And he'll keep pace with you and draw from his bag something a bit unusual. It's basically an array of mushrooms drawn from the wastes that you know. And he'll say, "Friend, I know you don't trust many. I can tell that about you. Wear it on your face, no? But these. Eat these. You feel better. We need you. We need your mind."
My mind's sharp. It only gets sharper the more bullets are inside of me. Keep your mushrooms to yourself, Raptor.
Fine. And he'll tuck them away as the reskinned good berries fly back into his pocket.
And as we get to the place, he's not even going to bother using his hands. He's going to quickly just kick the door open. He's going to half storm in there, half walk in there with a purpose. He's going to throw the rifle that the sniper is using to the weaponsmith, and he's going to ask him, "Do you know who made that?" And before he answers, he's going to look to Iron and he's going to say, "Sniper, we killed him. Garuda, beads, trained here." And he's going to throw the envelope from his pocket to Iron so that he can open it, read it, and then he says, "When you're done, show it to him." And he points to the Bastille.
I don't think a petition's going to work, man. And he Bastille's lap.
Bastille looks it over and he says, kind of after a few moments, he says, "This can't be right. I mean, I knew that Valenfort was power mad, but to plot to kill someone cold-hearted like this and not even bring the law in, it seems unlikely for him."
You have my blood on your face.
I cannot disagree that it didn't happen, but I'm just saying it doesn't seem like Valenfort. Valenfort would make a show of it. He's trying to establish himself, to show the people that he has power. An assassination, it wouldn't do him any good.
So what? You're saying as a third party, another person? Maybe Iron Post did this?
And as you say Iron Post, he crumples the note inside his hand and he says Iron Post. And he pulls out his watch and he looks at it and he clicks it again, mutters to himself, and he looks at it and he tucks it back in. That foul woman. This does seem like her dirty work.
All right. Listen, Mr. Bastille, I'm going to be frank with you. There are three of us. There's a lot more enemies than that in this city that we have to take down. I'm not advocating revolution. I'm not advocating assassination. I'm not advocating murder. But we three will need your resources on behalf of the Envoy House to fix the problem in this city.
Of course. I have always been a loyal Accretion.
All right. Money, yes. Healing, yes. Nuns, doctors, whatever you can get us, we will need. Because I can guarantee by the end of tomorrow night, I will have more bullet wounds in my body than just this one, and they will need to be patched up. Weapons as well. And he looks over to the armor smith who he threw the gun to.
He nods his head and he says, "Well, the Gilded Goat has always been my headquarters for discussing such things, but I'm thinking that it may not be the most safe location anymore."
We met some friends in the Dust Commons, but I don't think the Dust Commons is the safest place right now. At 10 a.m. tomorrow, as the note said, there will be a meeting there, an address. I'm not sure if the address is close to our home base or not, but the Dust Commons is not safe, and Mr. Patil's home is not safe. However, I know one place that is safe.
He opens the letter and he looks at the address there and he goes, They're meeting at a tavern. It's called the Chubby Nun.
Chubby Nun. All right, then. Chubby Nun it is. When we go there tomorrow, Mr. Bastille, can you afford us any men? Or do you have any men?
I have artisans and a few merchants, but no real fighting men.
No point using
fighting
them.
men. I don't know if she wants to get involved, but Matron Crow may be the best person to talk to.
Right now, Matron Crow's compound is the safest place in that city. I plan on talking to her with you in my company, and I plan on taking you and keeping you safe there.
In that case, I have to make a stop at the bank. We'll need to encourage Matron Crow.
And I'm assuming that Aaron knows that Dragonborn, like the Mist of Dragons, just like to hoard their money.
It's a common trope to them as far as what people think.
So first, Black is going to look towards Iron and is going to say, did anything happen here while we were gone?
No. And Iron's taken out a large, heavy book and has flipped to a page and has started muttering under his breath in Karate-ish.
Keep your rifle ready and your hammer ready. With my arm down like this, wielding my sword will be more difficult. Fanning the hammer for my revolver will be more difficult, but our night's not open. We need to go find these tunnel rats.
Can I? This isn't my rifle.
And he looks to the weaponsmith. Do you mind if you borrow this rifle, sir?
He's going to bring down that bastard. He can have 2.
It looks at Iron. Can you carry 2?
If I have a way to strap them to me. He has suspenders, pants, and a satchel bag.
You could strap them. Essentially, you could use one as like across the chest and then hold one. But this guy was just kind of being sarcastic. But if you want to take 2, he's going to realize he put his own foot in his mouth and give you 2.
Iron only takes 1. But he takes enough ammo for 2.
Okay. He'll afford you 15 ammo.
So we have a decision to make, everybody. I want to go see the tunnel rats tonight, but we're going to go see Matron Crowler's because Bastilla's life is in danger. I don't suspect that Iron Post or the King will know about this botched assassination until the morning when their Garuda friend fails to check in. Or she might know within the hour when the Garuda friend failed to check in. So we either bring Mr. Bastille with us to the tunnel rats, who it is very important that we find them as soon as possible, or we go to Matron Crow first, because it's also very important that we protect Bastille's life. What do you 2 think?
One of the patrons that's here gets up from behind the table. It's a younger woman. Excuse me. Did you say the tunnel rats?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think my brother's involved in them. His name's Rolo. He works the mines. He should be on shift. If you can get in there, tell him that Alice sent you.
When does he get off shift?
He should be off shift at about 4 a.m. They shut down the mine for about 2 hours.
Does he live with you?
He does.
All right. We're going to make this 2 birds, 1 stone then. You come with us and Mr. Bastille. We go to Matron Crow's, then we leave and we go back to your place at 4 a.m. and meet your brother.
Okay, we can do that. My pa might be around. Just for my sake, don't let him catch you there. He might think that you and I are up to something.
Ma'am, I will be there along with a giant rhinoceros man and 1 ugly raptor. I do not think your pa will be thinking anything of the sort when we arrive. Now that Mr. Bastille, if you are ready.
She kind of smiles as she realizes what you're saying.
And the land crab would have scurried back into the raptor's orbit and would be clicking its claws against his feet, trying to get at what the Garuda is holding out in front of his hand, which is this eye, which he's pulled out of the satchel. And he's been studying it this whole time, kind of fixated and almost lost in the conversation. And I'd be even saying that he'd be starting a sort of detect magic attempt while all of this is going on.
I was about to do the same thing.
Yeah, it is an Arcana. This does differ a little bit from the scene DC because we're just going to use the normal detection DC, which is a 20.
Okay.
Could I spend 10 minutes praying to Kuru?
You
Well, like I have that spell. That's why I was going to use it. Yeah.
totally fine.
Is the Arcana roll required even still?
No, sorry. With the detect magic, you are able to determine that the eye itself is magical. After a little bit of concentration, you realize that the eye itself is divination related. And after a little bit of further time, you realize that the aura is quite strong with this one. You are understanding that the eye, basically what it does is it grants you once per day a special type of vision, but or I should say once per long rest, a special type of vision, but you're not exactly sure what this vision is. It's one of those things that you're going to have to commit to see what it does. And that means pulling your own eye out and replacing it.
Yeah, I'm aware. So I'm looking at the thing fixated, Eye of Sauron, look in my eyes as I slowly, with shaking talons, put it into the deep pile of trinkets on the back of this land crab, and say, "Now, Heinrich, do not lose that. Hear me?" And it'll click a couple times probably. Yeah, and I'll kind of catch up into the conversation and say, you know the drill, Mr. Black. You point, I shoot, and he shoulders the rifle and is ready to leave.
The one thing that you do know about the fake eye is if you put it in, it will function as a normal eye. You're not going to lose vision from that side.
I'm not going to experiment with that just yet.
Yeah, but that's something you would have got from your spell. Understanding that the baseline divination spell on there it's basically a replacement eye.
Okay, cool.
But it has something else special about it that you have to put it in to find out.
Cool.
Iron. When we walk out of here, I want to have Bastille and the girl stand in front of you. You're a strong man. As we've already seen, you will protect people that cannot protect themselves. I'm not a very trustworthy man, as you can probably tell, but you're someone who's a bit like me in that regard. When you trust these two completely, do you understand?
They should probably stand behind me.
I want them to stand between you and me. The reason being, if someone shoots directly at them, I want the bullet to hit me before it hits you. If they shoot behind us, I want it to hit you before it hits them. Does that make sense? Or do you not agree with that still?
How about we switch places? I'll go first. I'm a bigger target.
That works just fine. Garuda, Raptor, I'm going to have you trail out as we leave, about 15 feet back. You got sharp eyes, you're good with your rifle. If anything shoots at us, I want you to take it out as quickly as possible.
He'll just say,
All right. There will probably be guards on the streets. If we see them, we show them Mr. Bastille, you will tell them that we are your escort and you are escorting us to Matron Krause, and that will be that.
Of course. And he pulls out his watch one more time and he looks at it and goes, we should be off soon. I can only say that you're my escort if the timing is right. If it gets too late, they'll know something's up.
All right. So, Aaron, go ahead.
I say, having done my 10-minute ritual to cast Detect Magic by praying to Kuru, does that watch look magical to me? He seems to be using it in a strange way.
No, the watch is not. Now that you realize that it's not magic, you get the idea that he's just very time conscious. He pulls it out very often. It has a stopwatch on there. He seems to be timing things randomly, and he's making notes inside of his head. Whatever that means, you're not entirely certain. He may be up to something or thinking about something, but it's not a magical watch in any means. But you are able to tell that buried deep, nestled deeply inside that crab's pile is a small beacon of divination.
All right. So Black is going to check the rifle, make sure the bullets are there. He's going to re-shoulder everything. He's going to shoulder the rifle, and then he's going to let the Steel and Iron lead the way to our next destination.
Okay. Bastille will lead the way. You were saying that you wanted to go to Krau's, correct?
And Bastille wanted to get the bank and all that.
Perfect. So Bastille will walk through and the town, and he'll go over to a bank, and he'll knock on it a couple times, and a man in a nightgown will come out, and they'll have a quick word. And Bastille finally promises him a sum of money from what you can gather to let him in to be able to make a withdrawal from the bank. After a few moments, Bastille comes back out with a bar of gold, and he kind of quickly shuffles it into his vest as best as possible. It's pretty obvious because the vest is kind of tight on him that there's like a brick inside there. But again, he checks the time. He clicks it a couple times and he mutters to himself and he slides it inside there and he says, we really must be going.
Well then, let's go. And he looks to Iron to continue leading the way.
Did that exchange take more than 11 minutes?
Yeah, it would have been enough time for you to cast.
All right.
What is your question for Augury? Because if I remember right, it's Wheel or Woe.
And it's going to be playing cards. You receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. So he's asking about the meeting with, what's her name? The Dragonborn lady.
Matron Crow.
Matron Crow? Okay.
Matron Crow. In the first cast, it always works. After that, it gets unreliable.
Okay. And it tells you basically if it's a good or bad thing, right?
Yep. Wheel for good results, woe for bad results, wheel and woe for both, and nothing if results aren't especially good or bad. And he's just laying out these playing cards and muttering under his breath to the god of fortune, Esdar.
Okay. So as you go through it, you're making your prayers and you flip over one card and it gets about halfway turned and you stop and you flip the card back down and you move over to the second card and you flip that one up. There's something about the prayer and the guidance that you're getting and that perhaps maybe the gods are willing you to not look at the first card, to mainly pay attention to the second one. And you caught a glimpse of the first one. The first one was wheel, but the second one comes up woe. And you remember the fact that your hand was guided beyond something that you even recognized to flip that card back down. And now the only result that you're getting is woe.
He puts the cards away and pulls Aaron to the side.
What is it?
There's no way this turns out well for any of us.
Why is that?
I just know the gods. I can ask. They answer. Esdar's not on our side if we go talk to this Matron Crow.
For a second, Aaron stands there, and he's not looking at you. He's staring at the dirt road they're standing on. He wears around his neck a coin, essentially. It is a medallion. It is connected to the god of fortune as well. That is his own patron god. That's what he believes in. It's what he believes protects him. And he is not the most religious man. He's not the most sacred man. He's no angel by any means. But he does put a certain weight into what the gods say. And finally he says, you know this for sure.
For sure. And I'm going to show him I'm going to show you the card that came up.
About that time, as you kind of show him the card, as you've collected up the rest of the deck, that the Bastille comes out, and Bastille puts that gold brick into his vest, and he pulls the watch, and it's because you guys have received this woe card. The clicking and the watch stuff, it's something he's been doing the whole time, and it was odd at first, but now that you've got this idea of woe coming with this, perhaps maybe there's more to the watch.
Aaron looks at the watch for a second. He starts thinking and processing. He sees the brick bulging out. The brick is too obvious. He sees the watch being played again and again and again. He thinks back to what this man said about how if we don't act now, we'll miss our own point of opportunity. He thinks about the sniper. He thinks about the iron post, the letter, and all of that. And then, without thinking, he's going to reach up and try to snatch the watch out of Bastille's hand.
You easily do it. You snatch it right out of his hand, and the chain that is connected to his button, it stays connected, and his button just rips off his vest. And he says, "Excuse me," as he kind of catches the brick, because with the button gone, his vest has lost a little bit of integrity.
Iron, take the brick of gold. And then Aaron's gonna take the watch and he's gonna study it. Maybe break it open if he has to. He's doing everything he can to figure out what's so special about this watch. He has suspicion about it.
Okay. So you kind of flip it over and you mess with it for a little while, and you've broken out some of your tools, and you stick a small screwdriver kind of in the side, and you give it a quick little jimmy thing, and it pops open. Inside the back, right behind the gears, is a sheet of glass, and then there's the actual casing. But in between that glass and the casing is a small piece of paper. And inside that paper, it's got times listed on there. And there's one of them that's circled. And you check the watch, and this is probably what he's been watching for. It's about an hour, or it's about 30 minutes away from the current time. Iron, when you take the brick is not the right weight. A brick of gold should be heavier than this.
Can I inspect it with the suspicion that this is holding something inside of it?
Absolutely.
Is he trying to stop me at all?
He's looking a little nervous as you start to kind of turn over the brick, realizing that he knows that he now recognizes that you know it's not the right weight. He sees the watch pry open, and you start to open up this little sheet of paper. His nervousness grows, and as he starts to kind of like take a half step back, yeah, the Garuda's just going to be like Merp, with the little clawed talons over his shoulder, so he's not going anywhere.
Ma'am, and he's talking to the woman they brought with us. Do me a favor and please look away.
Of course. And she turns and she takes a few steps away, so that if any onlookers were around, they wouldn't assume that you're together.
Iron, what's up with that gold bar?
After a few passes, Iron, give me an investigation. The current scene DC is 12.
I think he DC'd.
Oh.
While we wait for him to reconnect, Aaron is going to look towards Bastille. He's going to say, why is this number circled this 30 minutes time from now?
I'm a very...
Do not lie to me.
I keep track of times, and that is an important time for me.
Why? Mr. Bastille, I may remind you one more time that you have my blood on your face, and if you lie to me one more time, and if you withhold information one more time, it will not just be my blood on your face.
Ow, 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 ow. Okay. The time. I spoke with Crowd before. I'm supposed to meet her there. That's why I circled the time.
For what reason?
She believes it's to get gold. I'm here to deliver something. A message.
Iron, what's in that gold bar?
Can I pry it open?
Yeah, the scene DC is like a 12, so you probably will make that investigation. If you don't mind, I do need a roll just to confirm that.
Ah, my bad. My bad. I missed that. Got disconnected for a moment. Investigation. Well, I rolled a 12 on the die. I have no bonuses to this. I got very lucky.
Perfect. So you are able to find the seam, and you can pull it apart, and it's kind of like one of those hard plastic card cases. You start to kind of shuffle it, and it's got like a vacuum to it, and after a few seconds, it separates. And inside this bar of gold are 2 glass tubes, a set of wire copper that kind of coils in between the two, and then a small clock. There's liquid in both glass tubes.
Do we know what
Would I
explosives are?
You
I'll say
absolutely.
what I recognize.
This is a very advanced explosive, however. You've never seen anything quite like this, but you can tell it's an explosive.
Mr. Bastille, I have lived in these wastes for a very long time. I've seen dynamites, I've seen guns of all kinds. I've never seen a bomb quite like this one, but I can assure you that it is a bomb. Mr. Bastille, why are you bringing a bomb to Mrs. Crow?
Look, I don't want to do it, but, and he kind of like winces again underneath the talons that are digging into him. He says, look, listen, I have to. My family. Fallon Fort took my family. The only way that I can do that, I can get them back, is if I do this.
And the raptor will kind of like poke his beak over the shoulder of Bastille and just say, perhaps even better reason for us to visit Crow after all.
You're right. Hand me the bomb, Iron.
Iron looks at the woman in the teller booth. Did you know about this?
It's a older gentleman who runs the bank. He's there in a nightgown, and he shakes his head and he says, no, I would have never let that in the bank. In fact, I wouldn't be the one that would check it in, but Mr. Bastille is a contributor to our bank's financial well-being. Wouldn't be surprised if a teller was also encouraged by some extra money.
Mr. Teller, here's what's going to happen. We're going to take this bomb out of your bank. We're going to dispose of this bomb. However, we need you to bring us a gold bar that Mr. Bastille originally required. Because we go to Matron Crow and we show her this bomb and then we show her the actual gold, well, we're still going to need to make an offering to her.
Well, he did save my bank. I suppose it's the least I can do.
Thank you. Mr. Bastille, let me tell you what's going to happen. We're going to go see Mrs. Matron Crow. You're going to tell her exactly what you did, why you did it. You will be at her mercy. Dragonborn are not known for showing mercy. However, I can tell you that with Matron Crow's help and with what resources we will have from your estate, and we will have those resources, we will get your family out of there. I did not say this to give you any kind of hope. I did not say this on behalf of the Envoy House. I say this because if we get your family out of there, I'm hoping that you will be able to give us unlimited access to your funds in order to despoil this king, correct?
Yes.
Now tell me, is there anything else that this man asked you to do?
No, he told me what time I had to deliver it, and then told me I only had 15 minutes to leave once it's delivered.
All right, once he says that, I want Aaron to punch him in the stomach as hard as he can.
Aaron or Iron?
Aaron, not Iron, Aaron. And after he punches him, he's going to kind of shake his head. He punched with his right hand, his good hand. He's going to say, "That's for getting me shot on your behalf, you fucking piece of shit." And he's going to look to Iron, who still has a bomb, I assume. And until he gets back, he's going to take the gold bar, put it into his jacket, because he doesn't trust this guy again anymore. He's going to throw the watch on the ground. He's going to stomp on it until it's broken.
Okay. The bomb itself, looking over it, you're not entirely certain how to defuse it, but it's a 2-part chemical. Logically, you can assume that either stopping the clock or maybe separating the chemicals would be the best way to do it. But you're going to need some skill checks if you want to defuse it.
What's the time on it?
It's got about 45 minutes, according to the story that you received from Bastille.
And we have no way out of the city at night, right?
No, they lock it down the gates.
We should put it at the gates.
I can make it quiet.
That would be good. We put it there, we blow the gates to give the people away out of the city who want to get out of here. Once we make that distraction, it's going to distract the king heavily. He won't know how to respond. People are going to be rushing to get out of here. But, Iron, I don't want you to do this.
To build as much to keep
What was that?
things out as they are to keep people in.
You roboted real hardcore.
Yeah.
That was almost full demon. The Garuda with his rifle shouldered would probably hitch in and say, "I hate to say this, but I suppose I am fleeter of foot."
Yeah. My thoughts exactly. You take the gates to the bomb raptor. You leave. Well, you take the bomb to the gates raptor. You leave it there. You come back and you meet us.
Do we know if there's anything exceptionally dangerous out there that the gates might be protecting these townspeople from?
Yeah. Predatory dinosaurs. And there is rumor of dragons in the mountains. Like, legit, there are dragons in the mountains.
All right. Well,
And how far do you think I can throw this bomb?
Maybe about 15 feet. You wouldn't be able to throw it very far. Like, the 15-foot would be completely inaccurate too.
he suggested that I take her anyway. So like Mr. Black did. But
since there are things outside the walls that will kill everybody in this city, and this is out of character speaking. Actually, no, I want to make it in character. Black would say, don't put it beside the gates. Put it in the courtyard. We don't want the gates to open up all the way yet. We just want to draw everyone's attention there. Make the defenses weaker.
and like the Garuda is a sure fit for this, and he says, "Sounds like the old days."
Iron.
An idea comes to you. The church fell, and there's not a lot of buildings around where the church was. It was kind of the center of the Dust Commons. That might be a good place to put it.
Yeah, and we might not hurt people by doing it. Okay. Yeah, the veteran of guerrilla tactics will easily agree to this. But he'll say he'll reach a hand into that pile on the crab's back, and he'll say, "Oh, you will all take care of Heinrich, but I will come for you after." And the land crab will be accompanying you guys as he'll take the bomb, and he'll take what he grabbed from the pile, and he'll get ready to leave. Now he looks to Iron and just says, "Are you all right with this? iron of heart and body.
The church is just a dusty courtyard now. Might as well have the gods protect the people one more time.
And and I say, more big boom, more of a distraction. That way you guys won't be bothered on your way to Crow.
I can make it very, very quiet.
The reason I want to keep you here, Iron, is because if we get into a fight, you're a better use of than I am right now in close quarters, which we will be in close quarters if we get ambushed.
All right, here. And he sits down, and he takes out a pen, pencil. What kind of writing utensils do we have?
There'd be like quills, pencils as well.
He pulls out a surprisingly fine quill for such a rough person. It is a feather, in fact. It is definitely a very nice feather. Specifically, it is comparable to a holy symbol of Abras. And he opens his book and he starts writing. It'll take me 10 minutes, and then it needs to go off in the next 10 minutes, so keep it here until that clock says 20. 19 to be safe. I can entreat Knit to remove its boom, if you will. Pop it in a place that's not dangerous and let it go off. No one's the wiser except for a fireball.
I don't really understand. Out of character.
Completely out of game. If we wait until that thing has 19 minutes to blow, I can cast silence on it with a 10-minute ritual, and then it has 9 minutes till it blows. Silence has a 10-minute duration. It'll blow up. No sound will be made. Is roughly what Iron just said.
We kind of wanted a distraction while you, like, I was going to take the bomb, set it off while you guys head to Crow so that you guys aren't bothered en route to Crow. And so that the King's men are, like, focused on something else right now. Meta. I think that's what Mr. Black proposed.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm down with either.
If we don't want it to make noise, I can make it silent. Otherwise, that's awesome.
Mr. Black scratches his chin for a second, and he says, "We'll keep it loud. We'll make it visible. We'll make it audacious. In fact, Garuda, Raptor, while you're out there, I want you to take as many of those goddamn Wantapus as you can. I want you to throw them all over the place when you leave the bomb there. Let them know who did this. Let them know who's troubling their town, who's coming for him. Go disable the king, make him scared." Iron will keep you with me. Your rituals are important. Your skills are important. If we get ambushed, you're going to be the real line of defense, not me. Is everybody set on this?
The
Right.
the Garuda will nod and say, he'd look to the Iron of Heart and Body and just say, "If you have a prayer you can say for me for your gods, they don't listen to me anymore." And he'll start walking away with the bomb.
With that, I am going to conclude today's session. We'll get together and figure out a time for the next one. But I had a lot of fun with it, and we will pick up with placing the bomb for next time. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
For everybody that tuned in and continued watching, because we have one viewer that followed us into the new broadcast, thank you for watching. And if you have any feedback for any of these guys or from me, let me know. I'm always looking to improve my game. I tried out a couple new techniques this time, and I'm pretty happy with some of the results here. After the broadcast is over, if you guys can stick around for just a few minutes for me, that'd be great. As always, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you at the gaming table.